All right, let's be honest. Playing video games as a working parent is rough. You work a full day, you see your family in the evening, you play with your kids a little, and then you might have 30 minutes to sit down and play a video game that you want to play. And that's all before you have to go back to bed and start the whole thing over again. The question that I am hoping to answer for you today: is Guild Wars Reforged worth your limited time in 2026? If you're a working parent, then you gotta like the video. You gotta. That's the rules. That's the rules of the game, apparently. Yeah, don't take my word for it. It's on the game. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what Guild Wars Reforged is. The game of Guild Wars Reforged is a party-based action combat RPG with some MMO elements tied into it. The game originally came out in the mid-2000s, but last year it got a facelift and taken off of the maintenance mode shelf and put into active development with the outcoming of Guild Wars Reforged. The game has you choosing from several classes that you can go through and play as, and shortly thereafter you were also then paired with the capability of dual classing, mixing another one of the class choices that you have. And this, of course, opens up the whole realm of one of the reasons that this game is great is in the build crafting and all that. But you get to mix and match and come up with a whole bunch of different crazy combinations that you want to play. I mean, for my most recent full playthrough, I went as a ranger and I dual classed as a mesmer. So like I was basically able to shut down enemies at a distance. It was great. The game comes in 3 separate but somewhat connected, we'll say, campaigns. And those campaigns being Prophecies, which was the original campaign that came out, followed by Factions and then Nightfall. Now, all 3 of these campaigns intermingle a little bit, and I'll talk about that more here in a bit, but all 3 have a variety of capabilities and playthrough options, as honestly, they're not all the same. And the latter 2 offer a bit of a unique playstyles, as you can main class as an assassin or a ritualist for the Factions campaign, or a paragon or a dervish in the Nightfall campaign. Really cool stuff, really unique capabilities, but if you want to main class those 4, you have to start the campaign in their respective zones. And again, regardless of which campaign you choose to start, at some point you will be capable of going and playing through the other campaigns in the other games, so there's always a reason to have like a good time and go and see something else. Your one character can literally do the entire game and have no problem whatsoever. And don't worry about finding people to party with. One of the best things about this game is that if you can't find other players to party with, you can always hire henchmen and then later heroes. Henchmen work as just AI NPCs that will follow your command and do a certain set of abilities, like one will be a healer, one's a fighter, one's a mage, and things like that. However, later in the game, you can earn heroes. Now, these are usually tied to the Nightfall campaign or the expansion Eye of the North, which I will talk about here in a second. And these are fully customizable NPCs that allow you to essentially make a perfect replica of a build that you want to play as. And honestly, you could do so much with these. Like, I even haven't delved into all the craziness that is capable for it. So just know that it is a wildly deep and interesting combat system that you'll be able to do, and a build system that you'll be able to play with your heroes, just saying. And talking about the expansion, Eye of the North, where you'll run into a number of the different heroes that you can play as, the Eye of the North is the only expansion that's not included with the main Guild Wars Reforged game, because the main game will get you the 3 campaigns, and then the expansion will take it a step further, and that basically sets up what Guild Wars 2 is now. But it also allows for a whole bunch of new different skills, a whole bunch of explorable zones, dungeons, and all the like. It is so much fun, and it is a lot of gameplay for, I think it is only still like $20. You pay $40, you get both all the games. It's a really good deal. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that came along with the reforging of Guild Wars. Since the Reforge update, they've come out with a total of 3 separate new game modes that are going to be able to be added onto any playthrough or any run that you want to do. So the first one that came out, or the first 2 I should say that came out, were the Reforged mode and the Doom's Covenant mode. So the Reforged mode is, as simply put, a boost, we'll say, to Reforged characters. And essentially this badge that you earn gives you extra experience and extra gold while you're out in explorable areas. Does not apply to missions, but every time that you're out and about and you're going around, you'll get a little bit more experience and a little bit of extra gold. What's interesting about that is also in the Reforged mode, the henchmen that you get not the heroes, the henchmen, will have better AI and they will be stronger overall. So there's a little bit of an added benefit just to have the Reforged mode on at any point. I don't see why you wouldn't. Now, the other side of the original release came with Doom's Covenant. Now, Doom's Covenant is essentially the hardcore mode. You get 1 life, and that's it. If you die, the run is over. I'm fairly certain, I'm like 90% certain you still get to keep the character. So it's not like you lose any of the progress, so to speak, but you're no longer on a deathless run. You are essentially back to just whatever game mode, normal game mode it is. It's a lot of fun. You can earn a whole bunch of really cool titles and you get the little badge right next to it. And that is kind of like, it's a bit of a showcase. You get to show off, oh, hey, check it out. Like, you know, I earned this title without dying, which is a big deal. Beating the main campaigns without dying, that's a big deal. It's very tough. But they have a lot of capability and it makes it for a lot more fun as you're going through, but also a lot more stress. Truthfully, a lot more stress. The newest one that came out is Melandru's Accord, which is in essence the Iron Man challenge. There's really limited things that you'll be able to do as far as what your account has access to. It's basically that you're starting out fresh and you have limited capabilities with storage. You basically only get what your bags have. Whatever bags you have and whatever items you're carrying, that is it. You take your entire account with you with that. And you don't have access to any of the skills. So even if you go and collect a whole bunch of heroes and stuff like that, you have to start over from the beginning and relearn all of those skills for your heroes. Typically, the way that it would go is that if you earned a skill on a normal character and one of your heroes is capable of playing that class, that skill is already unlocked and you're good to go. You know, all of your other heroes can use that. With Melandru's Accord, you gotta go out and get each individual skill for them. So it's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more, we'll say, like time consuming, and it's a bit tougher, but it's it's a lot of fun because you have to be a little bit strategic about like what you're carrying. Really good time. And then of course I have the hopes for the future of what it will actually be added into the game, more game modes down the line. So for those of you who don't know, in Guild Wars 2, they had, you know, the number of different gods, and we've already seen Doom, we've already seen Melandru's. I could see us doing something with like Balthazar. I could see us doing something with Duena. I mean, there's Lissa, there's things that we could do that would make new game modes. And I'm just really interested to see what they plan on doing. All right, one of the most important things that I think we need to talk about is, does this game respect your time? As I prefaced at the beginning of this video, most of us are working adults, working parents, and we have very little time to sit down and play the game. And very much like its sequel, Guild Wars Reforged 100%, 110% respects your time. You're never going to feel like you are wasting time or you didn't achieve anything, you didn't move the dice, you didn't move your character's progression. There's always a reason to keep going and keep moving. And then you never feel like you are missing out. FOMO does not exist in Guild Wars games, Guild Wars Reforged or Guild Wars 2. You always have the capability of earning these things and doing these things down the line. And then most of the missions take anywhere between like 10 minutes to some of the longer ones take like 30 or it could take 40. But most of the missions are fairly quick. They're very, we'll say, user-friendly, and it kind of makes sense as you go through. So there's that sense of progression that even if you only have a half hour, you could probably knock out 1 or 2 missions very quickly without having any kind of issues. It's something that I think is wildly important, especially when we're talking about not having a whole lot of time to sit down and play video games. That's probably one of the best things about it. And truthfully, even for myself, I find being able to log in for like 15, 20 minutes, like these little windows throughout the day that I can, or even at night when I know that I have like a solid half hour, like I can kind of strategically plan when I'm going to have time to sit down and play a video game or log in and get something done. And it's a really valuable feature to me, knowing that I have that capability, knowing that I can just play these little spurts and still have something go right. And then of course, one of the best things like Guild Wars 2 is that it's great for you to be able to pick up and put down. If at some point a new game comes out and you really want to play the hell out of it and that's what you want to focus your time on, you don't lose progression, right? Like you're still as strong as you were when you left. Your character is still right where you left them. You don't have to worry about, you know, constantly being on a treadmill, constantly moving forward, which is a wonderful feature, honestly, for myself. Like I never feel like I don't have to play the game. Like when I do play Guild Wars Reforged, I play it because I want it. And that's something that I really stress is very important for working parents, because let's be serious, there's no guarantee that you would get that 30 minutes. Maybe your kid is sick. Maybe you had a very long day and you're falling asleep at the keyboard. So it's a great feature, and it's something that I will always like champion with this game. 100%. But that comes down to the idea of also, is it fun? So let me be straight out the gate, is that the game is not as fast as Guild Wars 2. It is not necessarily like the heavy action combat with dodge rolls and everything else all happening all in once. That isn't what Guild Wars Reforged is. I mean, heck, you can't even jump. Go ahead, and spacebar doesn't do anything. So the idea of Guild Wars Reforged is very much, the learning curve, I should say, is around positioning. It is about skill timing and, we'll say, resource pooling, and almost like a strategic battle. Every time you fight a group of mobs, it's almost like, in that sense, The way that I equate it is very much like if you've ever played World of Warcraft and you've ever done arenas, where it's like you step into a PvP arena and you mark, that is the highest priority target. We need to shut him down quickly as possible. So I bring that up in an example. If I'm fighting a group of mobs, okay, I know that this one is a healer and then this one is the heavy hitting DPS. I'm going to focus on the DPS and I'm going to crowd control the healer as best I can. Interrupts, knockdowns, anything like that, stuns, you know, get him out of the picture. Every time it's almost like a little chess battle that you have to play when you're going against these groups of mobs. And then you also have to be very strategic and time things as, okay, I know that I have to finish this group off very quickly because there's another group patrolling near me. And it's almost like this little mental battle, and it's so much fun, especially when you start pulling it off right and you start playing the game that way. It's so much fun. And then on top of that, each one of the missions have bonus objectives, or if for factions, it's timing. It's how quickly can you get the things done. But there's these little challenges that you can give to yourself and work with yourself to either do something extra, or finish something quicker, or do something that was out of the scope but also still finish the mission. I mean, there's like little challenges like that. And then on top of that, they have the hard mode versions of the missions where it's everything is scaled up to max level. Every character, every enemy has elite skills, and you really have to know the inner layers of the game to actually succeed. It is incredibly challenging. But then again, if you go through and you do all the hard mode challenges, you'll earn certain rewards. You'll get a title if you go ahead and do them all. Like, it's really a lot of fun, the depth and the complexity of the game. So much fun. Highly, highly recommend. And then, of course, your replayability is there with the new game modes that are coming out and then that are still coming out. There's still more that I have no doubt in my mind that are on their way. There's such a level of depth that can constantly be occurring, and there's so much replayability that you're never not going to have fun. One of the things that I love, personally, I'll tell you the truth, is elite skill hunting. So every build that you have gets an elite skill, and this is usually much more powerful than all the other normal skills. And typically the way that you go and get the elite skill is that you have to purchase a Signet of Capture, and then you have to go and kill the respective boss that has the skill that you want. So it's like a mini game of Pokemon. You have to go and catch them all. And I made a whole video of me spending about like 2.5 hours to get this one elite skill that works really well with this build that I've been trying to do. And it's rewarding. You have this sense of like excitement and reward for playing through and getting to that skill. It's a highly recommend. And that's not even to say if you play Guild Wars 2, you can connect your two accounts and earn titles in Guild Wars 1 that carry over to Guild Wars 2. Like, there's so much that this game has to offer, and it's shocking that it's only $20. The game is only $20. So as a working parent, I would 100% recommend this game. I recommend Guild Wars Reforged as a game that you can add to your library and you will never feel like you are behind. I give it a 9 out of 10 on the CAFDAD scale. Patent pending, I think that's what I'm going to call this. But the idea of it is that there's so much worth and value that you never really feel like you're falling behind, but there's always a reason for you to log in to find something to do. Now, I won't sit there and say that it doesn't get tedious after a while, or sometimes, the game does fade out and it does get a little bit, it could get boring, or you could get burnt out on it, just like any other game. But the amount of things that you can do in a 20-year-old game that's only $20, and it's popular too. You can go to any of the hubs that are around the game of Tyria, and you'll find players. I mean, just even the starting zone is like littered with players. Lion's Arch, which is like the main area in Tyria, littered with players. Like, there is so many people who are still playing this game, even though it came out 20 years ago and it's only just been reforged. 100%. And then on top of that, you have so many different class combinations and build capabilities, which again, it's basically like deck building, and it's done in almost an action party-based MMO, and it's done so well, and it feels great. It feels powerful when you put things together and you're doing things right, and your build finally clicks with certain skills and abilities. You can't beat it, man. It's so much fun. Now, I will say, counter to everything that I said, if you're looking at the game and you're like, man, the graphics suck, the graphics aren't going to be amazing. They're not going to be top of the line. They're not going to be Unreal Engine. They're not going to be anything like that. So temper your expectations. And if you're looking at the gameplay now and you're like, this isn't going to be for me, then it probably won't be for you. And that's okay. I can just make the recommendation as a working parent that this game is 100% worth your time. It is 100% worth your effort and the money that you would pay for it. $20. It's really cheap. And there's so much gameplay that's included. It's phenomenal. Now, if this does interest you at any point, I have included a link to my new players roadmap, which is kind of like how, if I were to start over, how I would set up my account appropriately from scratch, if I were to do this all again after purchasing the game. You can see that video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.